Let's do this. Good morning, and welcome to the Unleashed Media and Talk Show with Daryl Arnold.
Oh, hell yes.
This is the show where we talk about everything.
What the hell?
Well, almost. From today's news, culture, entertainment, real life, real people, and the stories everybody's talking about. And no, we don't do it in some tiny glass bubble. We do it the only way we know how. Real and completely unleashed.
Fire the hole, fire the hole, fire the hole.
So lean in and let's go right now.
Give me that hell yeah. What?
You know, what these people are doing, these irrational dingbats that, you know, luckily go on air and talk about this stuff, what they're doing is they are telegraphing an apocalypse. And, you know, they're not sugarcoating it. So they want to burn the Constitution. It may be an imperfect system. Like, there may be imperfections in our government, but at least we have a government that can examine itself and make things better. So what is there better? What are they offering with no prisons, mass amnesty, getting rid of the Senate, getting rid of the presidency, getting rid of the Supreme Court? It is a dystopia. And, you know, it's not good news for Democrats because you guys are too late to this. And there is a big fissure in your party between the people like Chris Murphy, like, oh, we're a big tent party. No, you're not. You're a party in decline that's about to be completely eviscerated by psychopaths. And, you know, thank God for the independents. They are fickle. You know, they are not model Republicans.
Yeah, this is what's happening, ladies and gentlemen.
Rational line when so much has been ceded to, you know.
And it is Wednesday. Good morning. Of course, we're talking about or listening to Kennedy talk about the Democrat Socialists of America. Wow. It is Wednesday. Hump Day, midweek, July 29th. The year is 2026. You have tuned into the Unleashed, Uninhibited, Unapologetic, Unleashed Media and Talk Show with Daryl Arnold. We are live on the radio at 104.3 FM in the Tri-County region, Rankin, Hines, Madison County, Mississippi. And then, of course, the podcast is worldwide right after the show. And we are YouTube live right now at Unleashed Media and Talk with Daryl Arnold, along with Facebook Live, etc. Live streaming. Thank you for joining us. I see people checking in already on the live stream. Good morning. It is 6:35 in the morning Central Time on Wednesday morning, midweek. We're talking about the Democrat Socialists of America on that clip. They are burning the Constitution, ladies and gentlemen. They're burning the Constitution. And they have momentum. That's what's scary. There's actually momentum for the crazy people. Let that sink in. There's momentum for the crazy people. We can't go with that. We can't go with that. That doesn't make any sense. They've lost their minds. A society like us cannot and will not survive without oversight. Really, it just won't. You may like it or not like it, but it won't. She speaks the truth about that. As an independent, she is not a Republican at all. But she is right. Somebody said, hey, isn't that the girl from MTV in the 90s? It doesn't matter. You must not know where I was in the 90s and 80s. It doesn't matter. People learn. People watch. People are impacted. They're impacted daily by these nut jobs. People are believing them. Okay? And here's somebody messaging me. Look, I don't think ICE should be disbanded, but rather rethought strategy. Well, first of all, the people that use that quote rethought strategy, that's just a Democrat talking point. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. It is illegal to come to the United States, illegal to cross the border without your paperwork, just like it's always been. Just like it's illegal for you, me, or anybody else to go to another country without the proper paperwork, period. Anyway, the problem is in their minds, though, the Democrat Socialist of America, they think they've already won. They think we're playing catch up because the liberal teachers, the liberal everything, Department of Education, all the health care, they've been tuning these new liberals into their nonsense for 20 plus years. Silent but deadly in the classrooms with the professors, with their learning material, if you could call it that. But, I hear so many people say, I feel like a civil war is coming. And the DSA people have a real problem. There's a lot of constitutional loving American patriots that are not going to let this happen. Well, we've said that about a lot of stuff over the last 30 years. If you read the history, if you explore and research yourself, we've said that about a lot of things over the history. We just have. Now, I do believe that the boiling point, the tipping point, as they like to say, or whatever it is that you like to say, is here. I do. That's not to try to scare you. That's not a fear tactic. That is a honest statement and opinion. An honest statement and opinion. I just, that's all I got on that. That's all I have on that. Because that's where we are, Leo. That's where we are. The government's secret war on cash, before we get going here. The war on cash has been intensifying dramatically over the last 10 to 15 years. There's insurmountable debt right now, United States debt. And the dying dollar, this is the truth, the dying dollar has set stage for a currency reset. The U.S. government and Federal Reserve have worked tirelessly, and they have worked hard, y'all, to make carrying cash risky, very risky, and to make it illegal to use cash in a manner that they deem improper. And we've sat back and let it happen. You say, well, Daryl, how can I protect myself? Easily. Get a copy, no obligation at all, a copy of The Secret War on Cash today. All you got to do, their phone number is 800-289-2646. No obligation, just information. 800-289-2646. Or simply go to SwissAmerica.com/unleashed. SwissAmerica.com/unleashed. Unleashed. We provide everyone with just information and no obligation for educational purposes. But getting back to the opening statement, abolish, defund, repeat. That's what they want, the DSA. Democrat Socialists of America. Well, I know that the news cycle is blowing up, but I don't know if it's blowing up on mainstream media because I don't watch mainstream media. However, on anything that's not mainstream media, today, Wednesday, July 29th, 2026, Dr. Anthony Fauci will be in the hot seat again. The question is, will he plead the fifth all the way through? Will he? Dr. Fauci, the worst person ever in history, in my opinion. Again, this is an opinion-based podcast, radio show, and live stream. But it's happening. Everything's coming out all the way back from Obama to Biden to the Dr. Anthony Fauci diaries. This is one sick puppy, Anthony Fauci. One sick puppy. Dr. Fauci's diaries expose one of the sickest truths about the COVID pandemic. It's crazy. So many things. And not only does it expose all of that, it exposes that he's like a little girl, like a little short man girl, being, blushing and being so. There's never been a narcissist diary that I've ever read like this in my life. And the files and the paperwork and the diary entries are out there for you to read too. I mean, his little, oh, I'm in love with Julia Roberts, all the way to the most narcissist statements, thought process that you could imagine in your entire life. Sickening. It's sickening, y'all.
Important bookmark this because there's a reason why Dr. Fauci wanted this pandemic to go on as long as humanly possible. He was anti anything that would help people from the start. May 21st, 2020. Big front page article about me appeared in the Washington Post. Very flattering. The situation with my national and international fame is explosive and really unimaginable. It is not hyperbole to say that today I am the most famous and talked about person in the world. Countless profiles on me in multiple media. I can't even read all the things that are written about me since I am so busy. Seriously. POTUS seems to be enamored of me, even though I am taking the spotlight away from him. He thinks very highly of himself. He's obsessed with documenting how each interview he did went, what people are saying about him, and making sure that the discourse around Dr. Anthony Fauci is still this bow down, Dr. Anthony Fauci. And Senator Rand Paul posted this on Twitter yesterday. This is what Dr. Anthony Fauci looked like while he was writing all of these diary entries. And this is spot on. He's obsessed with himself. He kept track of the death count and what other nations and experts are saying, but mostly he was concerned with what people were saying about him, less concerned with the contents of the meetings he was in, and more so obsessed with the interpersonal connections he was making in and around the White House. Was he well liked? How is he being perceived by them and by the public? And he was documenting every single news clipping, every single headline, every single article, photo with a celebrity, every email or interaction that he had with a politician. He wanted this pandemic to last forever.
That sick, twisted SOB. That sick, twisted SOB. Dearest diary. I mean, what in the hell did we witness? What did we witness? Now, I say all that to say this. Some of us didn't fall for Dr. Anthony Fauci's BS. Some of us did not fall for closing down the entire country and really the world, but especially our country in the United States of America. Some of us didn't fall for it. Sadly, some people are still falling for it now as we speak, right now. Fauci needs to be prosecuted. Although we're pretty much sure that nothing will happen to him. But Fauci was pardoned by the Joe Biden administration, by the auto pen. I don't know. But if he was, he needs to be prosecuted for any, I would say any and all crimes, but it is a list, ladies and gentlemen. He said, quote, "I am the most famous and talked about in the country and one of the most recognizable people in the world." That came out of, that's end quote. Okay. I'm going to read that again to y'all. "I am the most famous and talked about person in the country." Whatever. Idiot. That's what he said. He said, "I'm also the most recognizable person in the world." Ooh, ooh, ooh. Well, now you are too, buddy. But Fauci's private diary revealed that he called his own fame explosive and really unimaginable. Big front page article about me appeared on the Washington Post. Very, very flattering. "The situation with my national and international fame is explosive and unimaginable. It's not hyperbole to say that today I am the most famous talked about person in the country." In May 21 of 2020. This guy was sick in the freaking head and is, not was, is sick in the head. I mean, for real. As he was giving out the VA double X's nonstop. Nonstop. Also, as he was lying about where the virus came from, he was lying about the gain, the research, of course, a gain of function. He was lying about all of it. It's so much that you can't even talk about it anymore. It is literally whacked out insanity, is what it is. Someone playing God, and there is no God. There's only one. It was an assault on America. Okay? That's what it is. Here's David Hall texting me. My text number 601-918-8409, 601-918-8409. Brought to you in part by Cypress Point Resort. That's at Cypress Point MS on Facebook and cypresspointms.com. David Hall at 648 says, "Hey, the fact that we're in effect paid for it with our tax dollars should infuriate every single person in America." Yes, it should. But the mainstream media has never stopped massaging Dr. Anthony Fauci as some kind of hero. I mean, a lot of us know, I would say 40% of the country. But the other ones, they either A, have not been paying attention, which you need to start doing, or B, they don't get to see any of that because they don't watch anything at all, or they only watch those 3 channels that are given to you locally. David Hall went on to say, "Remember when he said, 'I am the science'?" Okay, that is compared to, Star Wars. It's also compared to the worst possible scenario of a wannabe godlike narcissist. But he's none of that, in my opinion. He's a piece of, you know, that needs to be in prison or worse. I remember every day, don't argue with the science. Don't argue with the science. We still have people wearing masks in 2026, going on 2027 because of this dude. Still have it. Today, now. That's sad too. That's extremely sad. Okay. I'm going to play a clip for you. And these are the people who called, or still call, actually, people in the Trump circle or the conservative circle still called us a cult, but never forget the way they treated, and some people still do, how they treated time and time again Dr. Anthony Fauci. This is the most ridiculous audio clip that you may ever hear in your life, right here on Unleashed Media and Talk with Daryl Arnold. The most ridiculous. And yes, this is real. And yes, they're all wearing masks. And yes, this really happened on a televised, actually on a televised news conference.
Dr. Fauci, give us vaccines. Help all the people who have been quarantined. We'll wear our masks and we'll have to stay distant. We'll wash our hands and we'll be more resistant. Fauci, yes? Promise us, please. We'll have a cure that can fight off this disease. Restrictions will lift with some ease. Dr. Fauci, don't forget me.
That is the most ludicrous thing I've ever had to watch. And the sad thing is, that's real, people. That's not fake. That's not fake. That's actually real. Absolutely real. I hope you heard that. And I hope you never unhear that. That's how ridiculous it was. Let me be clear, though. We're not a cult, or I'm not a cult. I can speak for myself. But we're ride or die with what Trump has done for this country over the last decade. Why? Because common sense, y'all. It's not a big mystery that you all have to sit there and try to figure out. It's really not. It's called holding on to the Constitution and holding on to common sense, really. It is. That's what it's called. That's what it is. That's what it's always been for me. The main thing is believing in the freaking Constitution. Right? Right. Right. I got some comments here. Good morning to Russell, Thomas Allen, David Hall, Angie Jones. He had COVID patients moved into nursing homes and eradicated countlessly elderly Americans. Emmett Kelly, good morning, sir. Fauci is bought and paid for just like the majority of the politicians. What's up, Thomas? He's not a piece of, he's the whole. S-H-I-T. I also personally think that a mask will stop a virus like underwear will poo-poo. Yeah, basically. I still see people, you guys. I mean, it's just sadly because it's a lot of elderly people who I was talking to my friend Rob P last night, who's doing a little bit better. Good morning to Rob P. And we were discussing just that. It's a lot of people that unfortunately, elderly people who don't have cable TV, they don't have internet. they get those 3 channels, maybe 2 channels, depending, or hell, maybe even 1 channel. And they bought into it, and they're still doing it. They're still following along with the masks, the whatever else, unfortunately. And that's nothing more than sad. Okay? Nothing more than sad. Anyway, what an opening monologue. That's happening today, by the way. Rand Paul and them will be questioning Dr. Anthony Fauci. I'm sure I'll go home and watch and listen. I'm sure nothing will happen to him, as he probably and maybe will plead the fifth anyway. It's a very likely situation that he will do that. And I can't really say that I blame him. But so evil, very evil, very, very evil. We have other things to talk about, though, besides Dr. Anthony Fauci. This morning on Wednesday, it is the top of the hour right now, top of the first hour of the show. You can always check out all episodes on Apple, Spotify, Podbean, Pandora. iHeartRadio is on board now. Or you can simply go to DarrellArnold.us, DARRELL, DarrellArnold.us, and choose your player right there and listen to the show however you want to listen to it on your favorite platform. We'll be right back. Top of the hour.
Every program in the Next ecosystem is designed to meet people where they are and take them where they want to go, in technology and in life. Mississippi Coding Academies is a nonprofit that bridges the digital divide, delivering accessible, affordable, and life-changing technology education across the globe. Funded by grants and donations that are truly making an impact at home and abroad. Learn coding, cybersecurity, and so much more with locations around the state of Mississippi. Go to mscoding.org today and go to your next level.
Power 104.3 FM.
You are without doubt the worst pirate I've ever heard of. But you have heard of me.
The Pirate.
Support for these programs comes from Electrical Solutions and Services in Pearl, Mississippi, providing licensed electrical contracting services throughout Mississippi for commercial, industrial, and residential projects. Also installations, system upgrades, troubleshooting, and emergency electrical repairs. As certified installers for Tesla, charging systems, and a certified dealer for Generac backup power solutions, their team delivers safe, code-compliant workmanship with a commitment to precision and integrity. They are veteran-owned. Their phone number is 769-572-7597.
The Mississippi Reunion Concert. Everyone has waited on, and we have it at Cameron's Garage. August 7th, Crossin-Dixon. This is the concert of the decades not to miss. Join us at Cameron's Garage for an evening of music. The Stevens Brothers Band will kick off the night at 5:30 p.m., followed by Crossin-Dixon at 8 p.m. Purchase your tickets in advance for $15 or at the door for $20 at cypresspointms.com. This will sell out. We cannot wait to see you there.
Welcome back to the Unleashed Media and Talk Show with Darrell Arnold. And yes, he's still unapologetic.
7:02 in the morning. Good morning. My name is Darrell Arnold. You've tuned into the Unleashed Media and Talk Show with Darrell Arnold on a Wednesday. July 29th, 2026. We spent the first half hour talking about the evil Dr. Fauci, who will be in the hot seat today. So much to talk about with that guy, but it's really insane. All the things that are going on, all the things that he calls to people, good, hard working folks. He is responsible. HE is responsible. The Constitution that we have here in America, here's another big time stuff that's going on out there. Y'all wake up, clean out your ears. The Constitution protects faith. It does. It protects all of our faith. But it does not support Islamic conquest. It does not. I was reading up on this last night, and this is true. This is a very true statement here. Freedom of religion, freedom of our religion, whatever that may be, ends where ideology seeks to abolish the freedom itself. Okay? America's greatest safeguard in this country is the First Amendment is being turned against itself. Across the country, activists and politicians invoke freedom of religion to shield not private belief, but a foreign political legal system called Sharia law. Okay, I'm not an expert on this, nor do I claim to be an expert on this. That's why I'm going to play a clip. I'm not going to play the whole thing because it's an extremely long explanation. But it will give you a little insight on what these people are doing, what the plan is, what the plan has been for a quarter of a century at least. Look what they've done to cities like Dallas, Texas already. I mean, already. Quick life.
Tonight on Rare TV, we expose a dangerous misconception spreading across America, that the First Amendment protects Islam as a political system. That claim sounds noble until you understand what Islam's governing code, Sharia, actually is, and what the Constitution actually protects. The Constitution safeguards freedom of conscience, the individual's right to believe, pray, and worship without coercion. It does not protect systems of government disguised as religion.
Islam is not a religion. Islam is a system of governance. As a Muslim, we're supposed to see Islam as an alternative to all the different systems of governance today that are ruling the world. The laws of the land, the laws that should configure society, should only come from Allah. If you do your job by basically obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and give Allah's deen victory, then Allah will give you victory. This is the true meaning of Islam. It's not going to come to us when we are not working actively towards it, period.
Democracy is silly. It's the idea that human beings come up with the laws for their society. God, the creator of mankind, should legislate for mankind. And that's what the Quran is about. That's what Islam is about. That's what La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah is about. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, In al-hukmu illa lillah. Legislation is for God alone.
Islam, in its classical form, is not only a faith. It's a comprehensive legal and political order that regulates every aspect of life.
There you go. There you go. Every aspect of your life is called law, L-A-W, Sharia law. That's what they want. That's what they think they're going to do, is take over that is their ultimate goal. They grow up thinking that they're going to take over the United States of America. And it's happening in front of us. No, it's not happening everywhere. No, it's not happening tomorrow. But it will happen if we continue to allow it to happen. This will be happening in your neighborhood before you can blink an eye, just like it did in Frisco, Plano, Dallas, Texas immediately. Okay. That's what's happening, you guys. It's just what's happening. But this, my friends, is where we are. This, my friends, is where we have been headed for quite some time. This didn't just happen today or this year, but across the country, these activists, they're doing this. And what happens? What happens when a religion is used as a political weapon? When laws rooted in theocracy receive a constitutional protection inside of a secular republic, what happens? It's true. The sixth commandment, thou shalt make war against the infidel without cessation and without mercy. But anyway, here is one person's example here that sent me a message here. Sharia law is a combination of church and state, what Muslims strive for. Thankfully, even freedom of religion cannot override separation of church and state. This is why we must always combat Islamic caliphates from being created. We must stop Islam from taking over the United States of America. Okay? But I would urge everyone, and you can contact me and I'll send you that video and that audio. Send this to all your representatives, governors, senators, House members, and friends and family. And friends and family, because the Constitution does not protect enemies of the Constitution. It was not designed to protect enemies of the actual Constitution. So let's be clear on that. You know, back to what we were talking about earlier, it doesn't matter that we've been proven right with Fauci and all that COVID fiasco. You still don't get your big jobs back. These people have lost everything. The kids lost all those schools, the big jobs. They lost so many friends for disagreeing on COVID itself or vaccines or whatever, the shutdown, ridiculous. You know, that's the deal. As of this morning, a little update on the Iran situation. Saudi Arabia drawn in. Trump warned Iran either stand down or face military action. Iran responded by attacking U.S. troops again in the Middle East. Now Saudi Arabia is being pulled further into the conflict. CENTCOM says, quote, U.S. and Saudi fighter aircraft struck multiple terrorist logistics and weapon sites across eastern Iraq in a strong response. Directed aerial drone attacks in the last 72 hours. Where are we headed in this war? Where are we headed? Well, I know that you cannot really deal with these people. They have tried and tried and tried and tried. And they were trying again on another deal when they did this yesterday. When they did it yesterday, but the Democrat Party itself is officially broken now because The Democrat Socialist of America. They hate the Democrats too, like the Schumers, all the old school Democrats. They hate them too. They can no longer steal money from taxpayers through their scams. The DNC is $2 million in debt, putting their physical headquarters up for collateral. Fools. All we have to do now is pass the damn Save America Act to secure our elections and ensure they cannot cheat. That's it. And then they will be officially done. And then only. We can't do it without passing this Save America Act. Can't do it. Crazy, isn't it? Isn't it? Yes, it is crazy. All right, it's 7:14 in the morning. Today is Wednesday, July 29th. Today, Wednesday night at Cameron's Garage is ladies' night. All kind of specials for the girls. And Josh Journey playing the music from 7 to 10 p.m. That's Wednesday. Cameron's Garage located at Cypress Point Resort. On Thursday night, there's a big deal going on. It's bike night, first of all. But you got to come out there and get those cards punched because there are some fantastic opportunities coming on these giveaways, which are coming up in the next few weeks. So you got to lock down the punch, ride in, cruise in on your bike for bike night tomorrow night. Every Thursday night is bike night. Don't forget your punch cards. So that would be tomorrow, Thursday, July 30th at Cameron's Garage. Music from Bubba Wingfield in the house, which is always a party. But it is very important. Bring those punch cards. Let's get out. Let's do bike night. Let's line them up. It's definitely warm enough outside to ride the bikes. Friday night is Emergency 9 at Cameron's Garage. Fantastic. 80s, 90s, 2000 rock band loves to party. Friday night. Saturday is a really big deal at Cameron's Garage. It is our own fantastic Laura Lee Burnham's birthday, but it's the big birthday bash for Laura Lee Burnham, the big birthday bash for Laura Lee with the band Burnham Road live Saturday night, which is officially a new month, August. That's August 1st. Big time fun. August 1st. And coming in August, we have some very huge events and live concerts going on. August 7th is the reunion, Crossin' Dixon. Tickets are still available at cypresspointms.com. Click on events, grab your tickets. There may be a table or two left on the VIP experience. Opening the show for Crossin' Dixon is the wonderful Stevens Brothers. These guys are on fire. You don't want to miss this big, huge event, August 7th, 2026 at Cameron's Garage. Coming August 15th, the Honky Tonk Time Machine. Hey, if you haven't seen them, you haven't gotten out and line danced with them, you haven't hung out with them, you need to do that. That's the Honky Tonk Time Machine coming August 15th to Cameron's Garage. And on another note, keep this in your back of your mind because you're all invited. Myself, Daryl Arnold's annual birthday party at Cameron's Garage. And that's an annual thing that you're all invited to. I want to see all of you. I want to see every one of you. And I love the band Thomas Kane, and they will be playing on my birthday, August 22nd. Again, Thomas Kane, August 22nd, Daryl Arnold's annual birthday party. Be there. Also, check out the tavern lineup all week, every week, from Thursday through Saturday at Cypress Point MS on Facebook. At Cypress Point MS on Facebook. John Fetterman, the last and only Democrat who votes with common sense. With common sense. He's talking about Mandami being a clown because Mandami is ridiculous. He also says that these people are crazy. They are really behaving bizarre. Seems like the DSA wants more and more. Yeah, because they're insane. They really are insane.
Abolish prisons, abolish the border, abolish the presidency, abolish the Pentagon. I mean, these are crazy people. And now they are electing people across our country. Colorado, even in my own state, definitely in New York City right now. And some of those people like Mandami are doing dangerous things. Could you imagine if I just announced that I'm going to arrest so and so in Pennsylvania, or you're not welcome here in my state? He's a clown, and now he's putting the list of people that owns homes in New York. Don't put people on lists. They haven't done anything wrong, and they're behaving in truly bizarre ways. And that seems like what the DSA wants more and more. And now, why aren't more Democrats? Isn't it? It's incumbent on us, Republican and Democrat side, to police your own ranks. So that's what I'm willing to do. And I'm reminding people, the filibuster, wasn't that long we wanted to kill it. And now we're so grateful that it is still here right now. And the people that had the courage to stand up and say that were punished, and now they're not with us anymore.
Yeah, well, we need to X the filibuster and get the freaking Save America Act passed, which, by the way, Fetterman is voting for that. But that's what needs to happen, because that's the only path forward, in my opinion. It is the only path forward, in my opinion. But somebody just sent me a May 21 other entry that about Dr. Anthony Fauci having a crush on Julia Roberts and all that crap. That dude is cuckoo, okay? That guy's always been cuckoo. He's on a power trip. He's a typical massive narcissist playing God with people's lives. That's sad, but that is extremely true, unfortunately. That is extremely true, unfortunately. I mean, I really don't know what else to say but that. But I do want to say that he's a psychopath, period. And I'm not going to ever apologize for saying that. Nor should any of us. Any of us should not. Because what we're saying is exactly what is true. We're tired of people hiding. We're tired of it. We're sick of it. It's done. We're over it. My name is Daryl 722. We'll be right back.
You wanted to see me?
Yes, please, have a seat. So here's the thing. When this company brought you on, we took a chance on you. You didn't have that 4-year college degree we typically look for.
Right.
But we gave you a shot anyway. And since then, you've worked incredibly hard and given it your all.
Thanks.
You've been an important asset to the team, but I don't think you can be an intern here anymore. We want to hire you.
You're serious?
Absolutely.
Find your next great employee. Introduce yourself to the grads of life. Who are they? talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
I won't let you down.
I know. Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Don't forget to check out Cypress Point Resort. Memories are made at Cypress Point. Close to home, yet it feels miles away. At Cypress Point, you can truly get away from it all. You can step back to a simpler time, yet enjoy all the amenities of today. Cameron's Garage is a sports bar and music venue. There's a lunch buffet every day inside Cypress Point. They also have a steakhouse and the Tavern. The Tavern is a quaint little place with live music Wednesday through Saturday. And of course, you've got the Safari Park and Petting Zoo. Don't forget about all the event halls, including the Wedding Chapel and so much more. That's Cypress Point Resort, located at 874 Hollybush Road, Brandon, Mississippi. Contact them at 601-829-1101 or at cypresspointms.com.
Welcome back to the Unleashed Media and Talk Show with Daryl Arnold. And yes, he's still unapologetic.
All right, 7:24 in the morning, Wednesday, July 29, 2026. We're on 104.3 FM, located in the wonderful central part of the state in Mississippi. That would be Pearl, Mississippi, the crossroads across the country. And we are on podcast at Apple, Spotify, Podbean, iHeartRadio, so many more. We're also on the TuneIn app live with the radio show and many more apps, ladies and gentlemen. DarylArnold.us. Click on however you want to listen back to the show, and that's great. We're live streaming right now on YouTube. We're on Facebook live streaming. We're out there. We are definitely out there. So we just heard from John Fetterman, too, who's a Democrat, but he is not a nut job. He's not a nut job. He has common sense. And we're going to talk about this a little later, but the Biden audio recordings, oh my God. And these were not when he was president from 2020. This is back from 2017. 10 years ago. 10 years ago. This man is a fool. 10 years ago, he can't remember anything. Nothing. But yet, they said that he was sharp as a tack when he was president from 20 to 24. Really? Seriously? Just incredible. Incredible. Unbelievable. We need to talk about this. We need to, especially if you live in Kentucky, but everywhere, we need to continue to call on Kentucky's Democrat governor urging Senator Mitch McConnell to demonstrate that he still remains capable of serving, y'all. This is beyond ridiculous. The man is still nowhere to be found or seen. He's not dead. But what's the deal? What's the real deal? Seriously. There's also another story out there that's covering allegations that the Trump administration is investigating a school district over its claims that it socially transitioned a student without parental knowledge. Now, look, first of all, nobody under 18 should do that anyway. But then again, the school is going to do it without the parents' knowledge. This is sickening. This is vomit information. Okay? This is not normal. This is not at all normal. Nor is it legal. So, yes, they should be investigating it. Look, we don't care on this show what you do with your life as an adult. Not at all. You want to dress up like an elephant? You want to be a boy or a girl? Whatever. But when you're in high school, elementary school, middle school, no, you don't get to do that. And you damn sure don't get to do it without the parental knowledge. Come on, y'all. This is out of control. It is out of control. It's not even close to being in control. Wow. And speaking of that, there's another story. Well, there's a bunch of stories, unfortunately. And a lot of them are not good stories. Okay? They're just not. The power trip story from old Gavin Newscomb, the ex-mistress exposing, shattering, whatever. We don't really care about Newsom, but anyway, exposing shocking step-by-step details of the Gavin Newsom affair. And reveals that Kamala Harris gave him advice to stay quiet. These people are junk, okay? They're horrible people, period. They just are. At the time, Kamala Harris was the San Francisco district attorney, privately advising, that whole crew to pause and refrain from public comment. I bet she did. I bet she did. What else is new? And that's not new. Okay? That's not new at all. That is normal loser party BS. There's so many networks that don't report on the values and the practices of the Constitution or being an actual conservative. They just kind of fake it down the middle. But the actual constitutionalist follows the Constitution, wherever that road may take you in life. So as we talk about these sources and these stories every day, we have to keep in mind that not everybody's telling the truth on either side or in the middle. They're just not. Sadly, that is the truth. Mayor Mandami, we were just talking about that idiot fool. So he announced that 30% off groceries in the city-ran, quote, grocery stores that he's opened or opening. Oh, we're going to have 30% off groceries. Does he not realize that that is capitalism? No, he probably doesn't. He probably doesn't. Chad Prather, though, and me, and most people with common sense, we realize that. We do.
How long do you think this is going to last?
Here's how it'll work. Once a month, our 5 city-run grocery stores will set prices for this core set of goods at 30% below typical retail prices. No exceptions, no gimmicks.
Shut your mouth, mate. Okay, let me unpack the political BS. So they're going to run a sale, is what he's saying. So all the items that they need to get rid of, the stuff that needs to be closed out or cleared out, they're going to run a sale on that, and they're going to price it 30% below. Now, this is political BS because he knows he can peddle this jargon out there, and people are too stupid to realize that things are going to be normal price most of the time, and then every few weeks they're going to run a sale. See, it's still capitalism. This is not socialism. Otherwise, it wouldn't last 8 weeks, even with government subsidies. But he can say all this stuff because he knows that the people of New York, I'm sorry, but they're playing on the fact that you guys are just too dumb to.
Too dumb. And you're really dumb if you believe all that. Sorry. There is a place where food is free in my town. Citizens send money in for food. Well, I mean, that's different. You know, if people want to send money over to people so they can have food to eat, hey, that's their right. They can do that all they want. But he knows exactly what he's doing. He's just hoping the fools will continue to vote for his garbage and people like him. That's all. Marxism, period. The last stop on the Polar Express, y'all. That's what it is. The last stop on the Polar Express. His nonsense is likely to make life harder for people who run stores the normal way. Yeah, of course it is. And we all wonder, what's his cut? What does his cut look like? It's not going to be on the up and up. No, of course it's not. No, it's not. President Trump also this morning ripping again Anthony Fauci as he arrives on Capitol Hill to testify before the Senate. He, quote, I said from the beginning that the virus came from the Wuhan laboratory in China. Fauci strongly disagreed, always trying to protect China, end quote. Quote, he made too many bad calls like the masks. Remember at the beginning, he was a, quote, anti-masker. Then he switched to a super masker. In any event, we did not let him shut the entire country down, although he wanted to. Trump said, I went the Federalist way and let the governors decide. And the Republican governors did a much better job, which I agree with that. They for sure did a way better job because some of those nut job Democrat governors continued that shutdown for a couple of years. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. You know, and Fauci, if you think about it, was largely taken out of play, like Trump said. And then along came sleepy Joe Biden, who made Fauci a, quote, king, K-I-N-G, or at least king in Fauci's mind. Anyway, that's, you know, Fauci has arrived already, and Dr. Fauci is testifying right now as we're on the air right now. We'll play just a little bit of this clip for you here.
Did not
This is live, by the way.
reveal that you had been part of the paper, that you had read and offered editorial comments on the paper before it was published, before you began using it as evidence that it couldn't have originated in the lab. You did not disclose that you had immediately investigated yourself whether NIAID funding might be connected to the research. You did not tell the American people the full story. Duly released private messages indicate that the doubts with the authors and others didn't disappear after the publication. So while this was being waived at the White House to show that it couldn't come from the lab, the authors were still privately continuing to assign a meaningful probability to a laboratory origin, one thing in public and another in private. Some of the same scientists discussed avoiding email and carefully managing communications that might eventually be obtained under the Freedom of Information Act. The pattern is straightforward. Privately, there was alarm, then an immediate inquiry to see if NIAID's possible exposure to funding, then a rapid public declaration of certainty, continued private doubt, and then years of resistance to disclosure. The question is why? The only logical answer is that your primary concern was avoiding culpability. Your primary concern was hiding the fact that you had approved the funding for this dangerous research. Your support of gain-of-function research is extensive and long-standing. In 2011, your agency funded Ron Fouchier's laboratory when it mutated the avian flu until it could spread through the air between mammals. This was the tipping point. This is when others became worried. You funded this. You advocated for this. The federal government's own biosecurity board, though, recommended withholding the details of these experiments because of the danger the research posed. People were concerned that publishing it was publishing a roadmap to creating bioweapons around the world. But you sided with the gain-of-function scientist Fouchier and argued that the benefits of publishing the research far outweighed the risks. You defended this avian flu transmissibility experiments as critical research. You wrote that even if a
so they
scientist
just
was
getting this thing started.
triggered a pandemic, the benefits
We'll
of the
have plenty of clips on
outweighed
this.
the risk. In 2014, your agency, NIAID,
But
began
Rand Paul right now is waxing his tail with
in
facts.
2015, Ralph Barrett.
Of course, Dr. Fauci's face looks big mad, but big mad's not going to work. Now, are they going to do anything to Dr. Fauci? Of course not. But I feel that we need to continue to talk about this, so it will go down in the history books. And more young people who were only back in junior high or middle school or high school when the COVID lockdown debacle happened, they can see all of this now. What this evil man did to their older brothers, sisters, parents, grandparents, and etc. So we all knew this. Anybody that was keeping up with common sense knew about this. But Mr. Science himself is what he called himself, Dr. Fauci. But the Fauci files have revealed that not just a sociopath narcissist to the max, but a pathological schizophrenic. That's what it revealed. For years, Fauci was asserting and assuring the public of COVID narratives that he either knew were untrue or knew little about. Mostly untrue. He posed a nonpartisan, he posed as a nonpartisan and collaborated with the quote left wing cable news grandiose channels and the liberal columnist to hound on his enemies and magnify his godly godhead that he has. But from the virus's origins and effects of the lockdowns to the efficiency of the mRNA vaccines to the always changing, quote, mask protocols and all that crap, Fauci used his massive government agency and psychopath narcissism along with the willing left-wing media to promote his always fluid narratives by punishing enemies and rewarding his buddies on their basis of loyalty to the Dr. Fauci representing science bull. It's pathetic. He also seemed to be obsessed, literally, with the firing of White House COVID advisor Scott Adlis and demonizing the others for crimes of questioning the Fauci party line. These critics were not radical, let it rip, herd immunologists, and the Fauci camp loved it. Loved it. You know, he embraced the shutdown. He wrecked the economy, y'all. He wrecked the economy. Especially derailing the fourth quarter of 2019 Trump economy. He increased the death toll, destroyed millions of livelihoods, harmed perhaps permanently the education of millions and millions of United States children, and hardly based it on science at all. And what exactly were these so-called extremist views anyway? Healthy children were not at any great risk from COVID, but keeping them isolated, drained away from key resources from the elderly and sick is very sick in the head, is what that is. Sick. The nationwide school closures we remember all too well. The lockdowns of the, quote, general population. Substance abuse increased. Suicide increased. Small businesses were ruined. Formative educational years were lost. 24/7 mask wearing was neither practical nor necessary at all. And people still wear them. Still. On Wednesday, July 29, 2026. And certainly the repeated booster shots, the booster regimen over and over. I mean, some people have like 6 boosters. Herd immunity, y'all, was not some crank idea, as the, quote, Dr. Fauci school labeled it. We've seen a lot of obscene hoaxes in our life. I know I have. And we've seen some that changed national events, like the Steele dossier, the phony 51 intelligence authorities in Russia produced, you know, the Hunter Biden laptop con, and the media fabricating the actual sanity of Joe Biden. And he's fit as a fiddle, they said. But Fauci's effort was literally millions of people passed away. Now, a lot of these words that I just read to you are from Victor Davis Hanson, which is one of the smartest gentlemen out there. And not all of them. I added some of my things, but this was based off of a statement from Victor Davis Hanson, which is brilliant, by the way. So I can credit him on that statement, and I will credit him on that statement, and he does deserve it. So the Senate had a choice, or has a choice, rather. Voter ID, Save America Act, or 35 days of paid vacation. All eyes are on John Thune. But there should be no recess, as Donald Trump the President of the United States said John Thune should not allow the United States Senate to leave town until the Save America Act, or far better still, terminate the freaking filibuster. Terminate it. Dr. Fauci is in. Yes, I know. Somebody just sent me a message. Dr. Fauci is on Capitol Hill right now and is facing the Senate and his own diary entries. The dude's a psychopath. You know he will get absolutely freaking grilled. Absolutely. So Donald Trump this morning, also the President of the United States, Mr. Trump, we're going to beat the F and S out of them. President Trump told Fox News this morning, Iran they launched the surprise attack this morning. We'll be hitting them hard. The president says U.S. strikes overnight against Iran-backed militias in Iraq were also coordinated. So this is, look, we're done with it, you guys. We're done with it. President Trump is furious with Iran after they launched another freaking attack. And I'm sorry if, I got carried away with Fauci, but listen, younger people and any age people needs to hear this story over and over so it never happens again. No evil weasel or either himself, no evil weasel like Dr. Fauci should be able to shut this country down, wear some BS paper or either cloth mask over your face, hide your face, run from everything like a little freaking chicken, okay? And not allowed to work or go to school or even go to church. We're never going to forget. We are never going to forget what Dr. Fauci and a whole lot more of Dr. Fauci's around the country going off of his recommendations. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen.
Every program in the Next ecosystem is designed to meet people where they are and take them where they want to go, in technology and in life. Mississippi Coding Academies is a nonprofit that bridges the digital divide, delivering accessible, affordable, and life-changing technology education across the globe. Funded by grants and donations that are truly making an impact at home and abroad. Learn coding, cybersecurity, and so much more with locations around the state of Mississippi. Go to mscoding.org today and go to your next level.
If you or a loved one need reliable medical equipment, trust a name Mississippi has depended on for over 20 years. Mobility Medical, located right in Flowood, is your local family-owned source for mobility and home healthcare solutions. From power wheelchairs and scooters to lift chairs that help you relax in comfort, they've got everything you need to stay independent and live better every day. Need help at home? Mobility Medical offers hospital beds, tables, and essential supplies, and more. What sets them apart? It's their personalized service. Their experienced team works one-on-one with you to find the right equipment. Serving all of Mississippi and beyond with in-store support and delivery options available. Mobility Medical, helping you move better, live better, and stay independent. Visit them today in Flowood or call to learn more.
The Mississippi Reunion Concert. Everyone has waited on, and we have it at Cameron's Garage. August 7th, Crossin' Dixon. This is the concert of the decades not to miss. Join us at Cameron's Garage for an evening of music. The Stevens Brothers Band will kick off the night at 5:30 p.m., followed by Crossin' Dixon at 8 p.m. Purchase your tickets in advance for $15 or at the door for $20 at cypresspointms.com. This will sell out. We cannot wait to see you there.
I've got Southern comfort running through my veins.
Power 104.3 FM.
You are without doubt the worst pirate I've ever heard of, but you have heard of me.
The Pirate.
Welcome back to the Unleashed Media and Talk Show with Daryl Arnold. And yes, he's still unapologetic.
Time for one more segment this morning on Wednesday, July 29th. Thanks for joining us. Of course, the year is 2026. The Fauci hearing is going on right now as we speak on Capitol Hill. I played a little bit of the live where Rand Paul was doing the opening there, but you're going to want to go check that out, please. You're definitely going to check that out. I didn't want to leave this next story out because it's so unbelievable, but Melania and Barron Trump have been targeted by Iran in a disturbing video encouraging their assassination. Look, y'all, this is serious business. These people are crazy with a K or a C. KRAZEE or CRAZY exclamation point. First Lady Melania Trump and their son, which is Donald Trump's son and Melania's son, Barron, are the latest targets of the sick anti-United States propaganda. A new video out of Iran is encouraging supporters of the Islamic regime to assassinate them. Entitled How to Blank KILL Melania Trump. The video shows images of the First Lady in the motorcade and in some locations around New York City, even outright naming some of the designer stores that where she shops, ladies and gentlemen, where she shops. The shopping excursion could be suitable for operations by global freedom fighters, they say. This is in the video. It also suggesting using a nerve agent to poison any clothes the First Lady might purchase. This is crazy. The East Wing and the Secret Service did not immediately respond, but they are, quote, on top of it, and quote, I know the whole information on it. At the end of the video, though, Barron Trump, who's 20 years old now, I can't believe that kid's 20 already, was also threatened. This is just the beginning, Barron Trump. Wait for us. Anyway, both the First Lady and Barron have full-time Secret Service details. All the Trump residences, the White House, the Trump Tower in New York, the Bedminster Golf Club, and Mar-a-Lago Estate in Florida are all heavily secured. The president's family, though, before I leave today, this president, Donald Trump, his family has been repeatedly targeted since the war started, but not just that. He's also been repeatedly targeted by psycho, far left-wing DSA idiots. But just this past week, you guys, more billboards appeared around Tehran demanding the death of Trump and his relatives, including Melania and all of his children. Melania Trump has not made any public events or appearances this month. I mean, do you blame her? Do you really blame her? She also missed Friday night's White House Correspondents Association dinner. A source close to her told the New York Post that she had a, quote, scheduling conflict, end quote. Well, you know, this is serious business. People laugh it off, they blow it off, but they're not in their shoes. They're not in their shoes. They don't understand how quickly, bigly something can happen. And that's the truth. That is the absolute truth. And again, the headline just broke on New York Post that I just broke on Unleashed Media and Talk with Daryl Arnold. Trump saying the United States will beat the F and S out of Iran after the surprise missile attack. So we're getting ready to find out what's really going to happen over there. What's really going to happen with all of this. We're going to find out, right? We are going to find out. Period. Anyway, there's been so much going on with the story in Mississippi, or a lot of stories in Mississippi. Now I'm seeing more and more stories of, data centers. I think there's a meeting in Brandon, Mississippi tonight over these data centers, ranking first, all this kind of stuff. We'll keep you updated on all that. But I thought it was very important to re-expose everything that we already knew. People with common sense about Dr. Anthony Fauci, who did not buy into his lockdowns, who did not buy into the massive booster revolution and vaccine revolution and the cloth and paper freaking mask over your face. Okay? We just didn't. And we didn't buy into his giddiness when he got to, the celebrities were talking good about me. What a freaking little child. A little child. Wednesday, July 29th, 2026. My name is Daryl Arnold. The show is Unleashed Media and Talk with Daryl Arnold. We will be back. See ya.
Thank you all for tuning in. Hashtag unfiltered, hashtag unapologetic. America First Talk at its best. Where we party the right way. See you next